A little bit of a change from last night. Coach Hogue, definitely not a coach who is ever set in his ways or set with the lineup. Always willing to make those changes and look at the statistics, what happened in the last match, really analyze. And if the player isn't performing, he'll make that change. But always manages to maintain the cohesiveness of the group at the same time, which is amazing.
And at this point, Japan is going to finish in the bottom two regardless of the outcome of this match. It's all about pride for them, and Gary Sato setting them up for the rest of this quadrennial.
That's right. He's doing that. He's a new coach with the program. It's just his first year, his first World League campaign with Japan. But he has a fairly veteran squad, actually a more experienced squad than the Canadians. These guys play every match hard and every point hard. We saw yesterday when they were down as many as 8 or 9 points, the Canadians continuing to fight, trying to get back into sets.
So no change to the starting lineup for Japan as they go with the team that fought hard against Canada after the first set. The first set, a bit of a blowout, but after that it was a battle, and Glenn Hogue was talking about that in his post-game interview, how tough it was. It was a battle.
Well, it was. Getting that initial kind of blowout start kind of dropped Team Canada's focus a little bit. They relaxed. They came out blazing, but then got that early easy lead and relaxed. Things started going their way, and Japan was able to regroup, regain momentum, and come out blazing in the second set.
Well, I suspect that they may not be losing momentum in this match, but it remains to be seen. As Japan will start serving, that's number 17, Yu Kashikawa, Tokyo native, along with most of the players on this team. And a bit of an easy roll shot. There's a set in the middle, and Verhoef is up early, and the ball is down quickly.
That easy serve equates to a great pass for the Canadians. Fantastic middle attack there from Verhoef. I'm interested to see how the middle battle plays out tonight. Japan had a lot of success with the middle last night with Suzuki and Yamamura, both hitting the two most efficient hitters for Japan last night. We'll see how Canada counters that.
There's the running float serve. It's cut off. Here's a back row attack. Lewis with the big jump set, and Sunius looking for blocker's hands. Doesn't find it this time.
A little misstep in the timing there, I think, for Sunius. High ball set from Lewis. He was a little anxious to get in, went a little early, slowed down his approach at the crucial time. That decel in the approach is going to hurt the height he's hitting the ball at.
The 30-year-old Suzuki putting the ball into play, but there's a fault on that serve. Canada gets the free point. We're playing rally point. Point is scored, whether you're serving or receiving. Whoever wins the rally gets the point. It's best out of 5 to 25. And Perrin serves that ball just down the sideline, and that too is out.
A lot of pace on that serve from Perrin. Nearly caught Gotsu as he was coming around to line up for his spike approach. Had to dive out of the way.
And we've seen that ball hit players before as they tried to get out of the way on the slight screens. Another shot in the middle, and another middle attack, and early Canada establishing that middle. Nice timing between Schneider and Verhoef.
The connection's there, and the body control of Verhoef here. He jumps almost straight up. He was tight to Schneider as that pass came off the net a little bit. Verhoef didn't see that was tight, but still created space with his arm and killed the ball.
And that jump set is perfect to the back row, and early on Kashikawa is involved.
Check out the height of this reach from Kashikawa. He just explodes off the floor and just places this ball down in the pocket there, the opening in the Canadian defense. Nice high reach, but snaps the ball down, doesn't even swing on it fully.
And Fukuzawa with a nice pass there, good hand pass, cutting the serve off. And he lets a bomb go, and that's out the back as well. So service errors early here in set number 1.
We saw the high-risk service game from Japan yesterday, trying to take Canada out of their side-out flow.
Canada up by a point, set number 1. Red Deer native Dallas Sunius putting the ball in play. And there's the first time to the wing. And that ball is hit straight down again over Dustin Schneider is Kashikawa.
And it's Setter Kondo going to his big gun early, giving him some confidence. One-on-one situation for one of the best hitters in the World League competition so far. Equals a point.
Well, and this is quite different from yesterday's start for Japan. They were down 8-0 in set number 1. Here they are tied 4-all. But Sunius goes off the hands and well out the back.
Monster shot from the Canadian opposite, number 7. He's charged with a couple of 3-meter violations yesterday. A little bit of a timing issue. Touched the 3-meter line with his foot. You can't do that as a back row spiker.
So everybody getting a chance going through the first rotation here. Getting a chance to hit that first serve. There's something taken off that ball, but there's looks like a center line violation called there on Team Canada.
Oshikawa there for Japan again, receiving another set. Lots of balls going to him early. A look here, the Canadian block. Simek up so high, going up over top of Schneider there, trying to cover for the smaller setter.
Gatsu with the big serve. Again, takes a little bit off it. And there's the first shot outside to Gord Perrin. That ball is down.
Schneider establishing excellent tempo, nice flat set to the outside, dropping a little bit in, and Perrin able to crash on that and hit the sharp cross court. We've also seen him able to pull this ball back down the line. With that ball a little bit inside, it opens up that shot into deep 6, which is so hard to defend.
So both teams just trading side outs here early in set number 1, kind of feeling each other out, looking for the weaknesses. First set to the middle, and there's a miscue. Ball was blocked, but Canada let it drop on the ground.
Great read from the Canadian middle blocker. Verhoef went up, got a solid piece of Suzuki's attack. But then the miscue, the ball was so high, I think Schneider thought, or sorry, they'd made the switch block, and be Perrin expecting Verhoef to pick that ball up is high enough for him to take it.
So Canada squanders an opportunity there. Gives the ball back to Kashikawa. And he takes a little shot at it. And there's the first pipe ball. Kept alive though. Nagano's there for the set. Gatsu. Ball is tight to the net. Gord Perrin can't bring it back. A bump set with too much spin on it from Dan Lewis.
Scrappy defense from Japan after their great block on the Winters pipe. Watching this ball from Lewis drifting away. Normally see that ball set a little bit inside. Gun Hogo uses the reference to set it to a big bucket. Aim for that big target, but landing inside so the player has a chance to hit line. Lewis going for too much, trying to make it too perfect.
So Japan is now up by a point. Perfect pass from Canada. And Sunius cross court and down, ties the matchup. Gatsu can't get under the ball.
Well, Dallas showing his international level here. It's a full double block, able to go so sharp cross court from the back row. He's taking off 10 feet from the net there and still burying it 4 meters in the other court.
And here's the little jump float. Again, it's a hand pass, not a good one, but Japan's gonna rip at it. The ball does not touch the block. It is out of bounds. Canada takes the lead, up by 1 in set number 1 here in Osaka.
Subway restaurants are here to save the day with Super Avocado and Super Spinach at breakfast. These mighty tasty toppings have joined forces with the Subway Super Squad to give the most important meal of the day a full-on flavor boost. Put a creamy avocado spin on your morning faves like the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on flatbread. Or power up with good-for-you spinach. It packs a real punch on the sunrise Subway melt. Flavor powers unite. Subway, eat fresh.
Over the years, my goals as a player have changed. And when I first joined the national team, I wanted to be the best. What's more important to me is team success now. I really want to see our national team do well. I think it takes a lot of commitment, time commitment, as well as like a mental and physical commitment too.
Welcome back to Osaka, Japan. Gord Perrin on a tremendous cross-court shot before we went to break. We'll take a look at that right after Dustin Schneider puts the ball into play. And there's a middle shot, but this time it is rejected. Verhoef is there, but let's take a look at that last cut shot from Gord Perrin.
Well, this is just an international class hit here. Triple block by Japan. No problem for Perrin. He goes so high, so sharp cross court. Nothing Japan can do to stop that.
Oh, and Canada follows that up with a block. And they are now up by 4 here in set number 1. There's a back set coming. The block is there, but it's off the hands and just out of bounds.
After that huge slam from Verhoef, it was Perrin's turn. Unfortunately, again, it's Gotsu who gets the upper hand. Again, getting that wipe. Perrin showing a little bit of frustration. He's all over these sets. His positioning is good. He's just not getting the bounces.
Well, and we've seen that before. It'll start to come as the blockers start to groove on the timing of the attackers. Nice pass from Dan Lewis. And the ball is down. Kashikawa in hot pursuit, but can't catch up to the ball.
It's Verhoef out of the middle again, showing his power. Gotsu with a great stabbing reach there. It's the Canadian serve reception right now that's setting the table for Schneider. Consistent passing, letting Canada run the offense.
And that ball is served a little long, as Canada taking a bit of a risk there, but still maintaining a 3-point gap over the Japanese in this crucial World League match. There's the setter, Shigeru Kondo, currently ranked number 11 in World League standings. And there is Dallas Sunius off the block. The U of A grad doing what he does so well, is turning that ball off the blocker's hands.
You can see in the replay there, Fukuzawa's hand just explodes as it makes contact there and is wiped out. He's got to be strong and hold that, but so hard to do.
Oh, tough float serve, and almost brought back, but there is an ace serve for Canada, and Rudy Verhoef's got to like that.
He's got a fantastic jump float serve going. It's moving all over the place, and Gotsu with a heroic effort to save that ball. Coming way over the Canadian side, sprawling, getting it up, just tremendous intensity from the vet.
Well, tried to bring it back, but was unsuccessful, and Canada scores the point, and they are up 20-15 in a crucial first set.
Starting out well, okay? We just need to touch a few balls or kick some. Stay still. They know.
He's going to go back. He needs that side out.
We hear the American coaches speak English to the Japanese player. I've had to learn a bit of English to get that communication going. And then Vincent Pichette checking in with Adam Simak, discussing specifically what Japan's going to be running at him in this offensive set, preparing him for the high percentage set that Japan's likely going to make after a couple errors in their attack.
Interesting time out there, was both assistant coaches talking to players based on the statistics and what the other teams are doing. So real-time information and correction going on here as the pipe comes. Perrin is there, but there's a net violation on Team Canada.
Great defense there from the Canadians. Unlucky with that small net touch. Referee's been sharp with the net calls both ways. In match number 1, several net violations were called. Each time we've seen the replay, it's the right one. Great job by the referees.
Well, and just to clarify for people, you're actually allowed to touch the net, but the white band at the very top, it's about 2 inches. You cannot touch that. If you do, that is a violation. And once again, Sunius from the right side, and he's money.
He is, and your eyes are drawn to that big kill from Sunius, but it all starts with a perfect pass from Gord Perrin. Huge serve there from the Japanese. He handled it with style and put it right into Schneider's hands.
And here's the substitution, getting Josh Howitson, the setter, into the front row. Now that really changes the look of that block for the Japanese attackers. But makes no difference there as Gotsu just pounds that one cross.
Gotsu's got the Midas touch right now, whether he's hitting the Canadian block or hitting into the defenders. We can't get a read on him. Check it out here, Sunius with good positioning, but can't come up with the dig. When the block's touched it, it's gone out of bounds for Gotsu.
And Adam Simak was going the opposite direction, following the middle, as Kazuyoshi Yokota, the substitute, comes in. See if he can get the job done for Team Japan and close the gap as we head to the late stages of set number 1. Tough float serve. Oh, you can see that one curve. Just an amazing curveball, and that's called a lift.
That was a perfect view of the substitute Yokoto's float serve. Fred Winters thought it was coming straight at his body. At the last second, it dives into his right. Winters tries to get under it. It's called for the violation as he takes it too low with his hands.
Well, it was a good call from the referee, although there was a lot of those calls that were left last night, but we have a new head referee this week, or this match rather.
Stay online here. And when he gets to the front row, we will block. Let's block straight and you dig straight.
So a little instruction there from David Hunt, assistant coach for Team Japan, came over with Gary Sato as a package deal.
And it's tough to know how much of that information is getting through the players. They're obviously speaking in basic terms about taking line and being straight up. You wonder if the Japanese players are picking up the nuances of the coaching or not.
Well, and we should remind everybody that the Japanese blockers are much smaller than the Canadian blockers, so their ability to get up and reach one way or the other really decreases how high their block is.
Well, that's right. Japan gives away an 8-centimeter height difference on average to the Canadian squad.
So right now, that's paying dividends for Team Canada, although Yokota has the tough float serve, and here he goes again. This one, though, is long, and there's a point for Glenn Hogue.
Well, coming in as a substitute, you've got a job to do. Yokota got it done with that first serve on Winters, but then blows that out the back. The timeout iced him a little bit. Lucky for Canada.
So the Canadians knocking on the door, 22-18. We're playing to 25. It's win by 2, rally point. Fred Winters. Ball is tight to the net. Here's another back set, and again, the third time Perrin is there, and looks like he's just angled slightly out of bounds, and the ball is off his hands.
What appears to be happening with Perrin's block is he's almost a little too disciplined with his left arm. As he's going straight up with it, that one caught the right, but he's not getting that penetration and push back into the court at the moment of contact. He's staying really straight, and so if he isn't getting the perfect bounce, out of bounds.
Now that sweep is just so important, and there is a tip. Transition opportunity, and that is capitalized on by Team Japan. And all of a sudden, it's only a 2-point difference here. That's Yamamura.
Top of your screen there, going up against the Canadian monster block. Kashikawa gets the kill. Amazing.
Yes. Check that, Kashikawa. So Canada looking to get to 23 here. Gatsu, again, takes a lot off this pass. Set to the outside, and this one is down the line. The ball was a little high, but Perrin just controlled it.
He controlled it and made a smart shot there. Knew that the defense, the digger and one, would be high around 5-6 meters in the court. So chips it deep down the line into the hole.
Very clever. Gord Perrin showing great leadership. As Adam Simak puts in, the ball is handled easily, and this one is down the line. Big crunch shot.
Against Suzuki. So efficient out of the middle for Japan. Coming up, Canada's got to respect his attack. That holds for Hoof. You see he's late getting outside in a one-on-one on Schneider. It's going to be a hitter's heyday normally for Kashikawa.
And Sato really slowing the pace of this match down with substitutions, trying to dictate the tempo. Canada would like to get this point, get themselves a set point opportunity, see if they can get the job done. Little fastball set to the outside. Block is there, though. Canada in transition, and the dump scores. Very crafty play from Schneider.
Schneider's pumped up, and rightly so. Is a great free ball pass from Dallas Sunius right up on the tape for Schneider and gave him that option. If that free ball pass isn't on, he doesn't have that chance to be an offensive threat.
So Canada, first set point opportunity. And this one is blown into the net. Japan don't have to earn it.
Well, Canada in control here. A couple chances to side out and take set number 1. So we see the captain back in, number 12, Yamamura. The big block, he needs to make one now.
Yes, Japan is behind it right now. Canada, just a simple side out, all they need. Ball is set into the middle, and it's a miscue blown way out the back. Japan only 1 point back. Canada calls a timeout. Not sure what happened there.
From that angle, you can see the set was just a little bit low. Verhoef having to drop his elbow to swing onto that ball, and as a result, can't get that trajectory from high to low. Just hits a flat phaser right out the back.
So the Canadians want to talk about it. Take a listen in here.
Yeah, Canada knows that they need one simple side out here. It's going to start with a good pass. Or Dan Lewis calling for a slide there. They might want to get the middle, having Verhoef sliding either to or from. Center Schneider to create some space, track that middle blocker from Japan, free up the outsides.
So now you've just blown one deep in the middle there. Do you go back to the middle now, or do you go to the wings, or you go to Dallas Sunius on the right side?
Really have got confidence, all the Canadian attackers. Earlier in a set, you normally want to go right back to that player, reestablish that confidence. But here, an absolute money ball situation here for Canada, knowing they need this set.
And this
should be going to one of the big guns.
This is Yuta Ioniyama coming in as a substitute, 28-year-old. Plays with the Toray Arrows. And he's going to go with the big spin. Handled easily. There's the back set, off the block, and it is down on the ground. Gatsu very close to it, but couldn't bring it up. Canada survives a bit of a scare. They win set number 1, 25-23.
Many hot dogs are within you. Try Pepto-Bismol to go. It's the power of Pepto, but it fits in your pocket. Now tell the world, Daniel, of Pepto-Bismol to go.
Welcome back to Osaka, Japan, where Canada has won set number 1. As we said off the top, the Canadians only have to win 2 sets to win Pool C. They don't have to even win the match because they will score a point even if they lose 3-2. That will tie them with the Netherlands in terms of their total points. They'll have the same match record, but they will win the tiebreaker.
That's right, and so important for them to have a good start and get that first set under their belt. It'd be tough to, the pressure would simply mount exponentially had they dropped that first set or possibly a second one, and that pressure would build. Instead, they're in control now.
Well, and you saw at the end of that first set, the Canadians seemed to tighten up a little bit as they were knocking on the door there. We talked about this before, about how important it is to play these kinds of matches.
Exactly. Canada's playing an enormously significant match here. First time ever in history a chance to go to the World League Finals. And this is the pressure the guys need to develop as players and make that jump, that next step internationally.
Well, and of course, the majority of these players playing for pro teams in various parts of the world are involved in big pressure matches, but nothing of an international caliber like this, with 18 countries in 3 pools involved in World League.
That's right. That's why the pro experience is so valuable for the players. Some of the best matches that I had personally with the national team were at times where we weren't together too long, but coming straight out of pro seasons. Everyone's in big game kind of mode. Serving, you've been serving under pressure match after match, week after week, and that translates into efficiency on court.
So here we go for set number 2. Dustin Schneider putting the ball into play. Brandon, Manitoba native. And there's a falling back pass. Oh, huge attack from the outside. Fukuzawa just nailed that one.
An awesome side out there from the Japanese to kick things off in set number 2. Canada, as you'd mentioned, not the same service pressure that they started with yesterday. Japan tightening up the serve receive and getting things going that way.
And this is Yoshifumi Suzuki, one of the middles, putting the ball into play. It's set to the outside, and Sunius. Now there's that shot that you were talking about. He can either cut it off or wait, and he just waited and buried that down the line.
On his approach to, he knows that the Japanese setter Kondo was only about 6 feet tall. It was in front of him as a blocker. He just lets that ball cross his body and rips down the line.
So there's a ball that's cut off on the hand pass. Perfect. And the set into the middle finishes it off. That's Yamamura.
The body language of the Canadians defensively tonight during this match, it's just been that of a little bit of frustration. You can sense they all know how important every point is, and if they're not making that play, they're on themselves. You need to relax a little bit and just let things flow.
Well, and that ball is set very, very tight. Here's a free ball opportunity. Lewis in there. Canada in transition. Talasunias finishes.
The number 7 show continues. Sunias bombing away. He's Canada's top attacker right now in the match, logging point after point. Business as usual for Sunias.
There's another perfect hand pass taken. Oh, and here's a back set, but Schneider is there. Opportunity, the tip, kept alive. Gatsu again. Third time for Japan, see if they can get it done. Here's Sunias. And he takes a rip, but the block holds strong. Looked like Gatsu on the outside might have got a piece of that.
Well, this is awesome stuff from both squads. Fukuzawa early in that rally crushing a ball cross court that Schneider picked up beautifully. Both teams banging away, blocking balls. Japan finally counting some blocks.
And that was Fukuzawa actually coming all the way from the right side to help on that 3-man block. And this one's off the tape. Perfect pass. Oh, and no mistake on this one as Sunias hammers the ball to the floor and Japan's on the net.
How good does it feel for Dustin Schneider to know when he's got the ball in his hands that Big Talasunias is behind him and going to work like he has been? Really confidently throw that ball behind his head and count the point.
Well, the Red Deer native really putting emphasis on those attacks so far in this match. There's a ball set to the outside, kept alive, another shot. Perrin is right there. And so is Sunias. This one though, Nagano close to the net. Great rally going on here. Sunias. Here's a transition opportunity. Can Japan finish? Yes, off the blocker's hands and out of bounds on a great rally.
Great team play there. Canada working their block defense, extending this rally. At the end, it's the high-risk shots. Koshikawa making the point off of Schneider. Frustration again for the Canadians after working so hard and doing all the right things and not coming up with a point.
A smart attack from Kashikawa, knows exactly where Schneider is. Goes straight into his hands. Japan up by a point. Tough float serve. Kept alive, but it's a free ball. Coming out of the back row. There's a violation. It's a 3-meter violation, and Japan gives a point back.
I don't know why Japan's appealing, regardless whether he's on the line or not. Canada able to stuff this ball. Now the referee appears to be calling. He gave the double thumbs up, which is a jump ball situation.
Well, I'm not sure that ball even went over the net, but maybe Gatsu's a front row player. He actually wasn't back row. And there's
he said violation or not, he didn't score. A terrible call by the referee. The ball didn't pass the plane of the net, it was blocked.
I don't understand that call at all, and I'm sure neither does Glenn Hogue, the Canadian coach. No replay on that one. Ball has to cross the plane of the net, but Japan gets another opportunity. And this one is put down with thunder.
Well, the best way to talk back to the referee with a shot like that, Fred Winters instantly turning to the boys and blowing off a little bit of steam. Monstrous bomb down the line.
Fred Winters, 30 years old, played in Beijing last season, won the championship, but blows this one into the net.
Well, Steve Brinkman, Canadian middle blocker, and Fred were the first Canadians to go over to China and end up coming home with the championship in year 1.
Here's Gatsu. Takes a little bit off that ball. Out of the back row. Ball is blocked. Canada in transition. Simak is there. It's read perfectly. And that ball goes down. Gatsu on the help block.
Well, Suzuki, the middle blocker for Japan. He's 30 years old. He's got a ton of experience and makes a great read here in this transition play. Doesn't move the feet, staring at the setter, picking up that information, making the correct decision.
And a substitution for Team Canada as Justin Duff has entered the game and has an instant impact cross court.
We saw that in game number 1. Duff entered the match, got the first set. He was on the floor and crushed it back to position number 1.
One of the biggest jumpers in the World League is Justin Duff, coming back from injury. Only his second match back so far. But there's the answer almost immediately.
Again, that's Suzuki. The middle he plays with Suntory in the Japanese Professional League. He's got court savvy. Look at that, facing position 1, cuts away back to position 5. A little show and tell from him.
Well, and you can feel this match starting to heat up just a little bit more as Japan playing determined. Oh, a little float serve, a little short spin rather. Ball's kept alive by Japan. And this one is hit out of bounds. And that's what we saw in the last match. That was Fukuzawa just kind of be too precise.
That's right, so difficult to paint the ball on the line. Gatsu got one earlier in set number 1. To put it straight down the line that hard, very difficult to do.
Very close, almost hit Fred Winters in the foot as well. And there's another ball in the middle. Kept alive though. But this time the block is there. Rudy Verhoef and Dallas Sunius close the door.
It's lights out on Fukuzawa here as the Canadian monster block goes up. 7-5. Verhoef, Sunius. Massive.
And Fukuzawa feeling the block. 7-all. There's a big back set, but it's a net violation from Gord Perrin, and Japan has a 1-point lead here in set number 2.
Over the years, my goals as a player have changed. And when I first joined the national team, I wanted to be the best. What's more important to me is team success now. I really want to see our national team do well. I think it takes a lot of commitment, time commitment, as well as like a mental and physical commitment.
Honda was born on the track. From our first test run, we knew we had something special. Every Honda is built from the lessons we learned on the asphalt. Lessons about safety, lessons about performance, and lessons about efficiency. Witness over 50 years of racing innovation and the continuing story of Honda's legacy at the Honda Indy Toronto, July 12th to 14th, when the streets become the track. Get tickets at HondaIndy.com.
I got a secret. I got a Boston Pizza rib sauce stain on my shirt, but y'all wouldn't know it, because this here shirt is rib stain camo. I made it.
Boston Pizza's new ribs. Ribnecks love them, and so will you.
Just look at this shirt. It's covered in Boston Pizza rib sauce stains. But you'd never know it because this shirt is Rib Stain Camo, a revolution in food eating apparel. Visit ribstaincamo.com and order yours today.
You're not the type to exfoliate, or vacuum, or dust. But under your hood, you could eat dinner off the valve cover. Gunk cleaners and degreasers. It's a great time to be a guy.
Over the years, my goals as a player have changed. And when I first joined the national team, I wanted to be the best. What's more important to me is team success now. I really want to see our national team do well. I think it takes a lot of commitment, time commitment, as well as like a mental and physical commitment.
Welcome back to World League as we show you what's happening in the other pools. Pool A standings, Brazil is on top. They defeated Bulgaria 3-1. France took out Argentina 3-2. And of note, next weekend, Brazil hosts the United States. So that will be the final weekend in Pool A. As you take a look at the Pool B standings, Italy and Russia in a logjam at the top, but Germany with a big win Saturday against Russia, and if the Germans sweep Iran next weekend, they'll move ahead of Russia and they will make the trip to Argentina. The top two from each of these two pools, A and B, the top one from Pool C, and the host Argentina make it through to that final round. Talasunius again on the outside.
Japan's got to find a way to put more pressure on the Canadian reception. We've got ball after ball at the net in Schneider's hands. He's making the right calls and creating one-on-one situations.
Yes, Yamamura had to stay at home in the middle there. And Gord Perrin with a big serve. It's tight. Here's Lewis on the dig. Canada goes for the point, but Fred Winters is crash blocked. A big three-man block on the outside. Not sure, but it looked like Fukuzawa who got him on the outside.
Against smaller Japanese blockers, the Canadians can get lured into wanting to go for those showtime shots, pounding the ball straight to the floor. In this high ball situation, Winters has to be a little bit smarter than that, go high hands or hit clean line.
Yamamura and Fukuzawa were tight together there. Another perfect pass. And this one taken, kept alive though on a spectacular dig. Very, very high shot. Here's Lewis. Perfect setup into the middle. And the ball is down.
Awesome set selection there from Schneider, matching up Verhoef on Yamamura. Yamamura has to commit. He's got to go with a full jump if he's going to slow down Verhoef. He's contacting the ball that high.
So again, we are tied at 17-all in set number 2. Verhoef. Ball is handled easily. Right side shot, and this time successful. Cross court, Fukuzawa again.
Well, in match number 2 against the Canadians, the Japanese left side stars been so much more efficient. A lot more quality in their attacks, and they're limiting those unforced errors, and as a result, we're seeing a really tight match.
Serve receive for Team Japan, much better, much improved. Big, big serve. And the block also much improved. Huge close on the outside. That was Yamamura going.
Well, it's the Japanese captain. They finally take down the Canadian giant with a slam block. They haven't been able to get a piece of Talasunius, but the captain shows them how it can be done. Huge confidence boost for the Japanese.
Well, a big point for Japan as they open a 2-point gap. Canada calls the timeout. Let's listen in.
Hey, like, go back to the basics, load in position. Aggressive on the one play, you know, like just make one play at a time.
Glenn Hoag asked the team to go back to the basics. Focus on a point at a time, a play at a time. Keep it simple in a sense, and don't get frustrated.
Well, Canada potentially, if they win this set, will win the pool. Maybe thinking about the end a little too soon. Japan gonna have a lot to say about that as they are up here in set number 2 with Fukuzawa. Again, putting the ball in play, but this one into the net. And that closes the gap to 1.
Again, the Canadians need to play it a point at a time and not stake too much emotional energy on these points, trying to force it to happen. Need to have some patience as we see Howitson come in. The big front row for Canada in place. Duff and Howitson, monster blockers. Schneider will have a sit down and talk tactics with Coach Hoag.
So Canada looking to make something happen here with this big front row. Asunius puts the ball over, and that's really tight to the net. Lewis with a great save. Winters. off the block. Somehow that ball found its way through, and you see the big smile on Yu Kashikawa.
Well, that's the problem. This ball found a way through the block. Shouldn't happen. That block needs to be tight in the high ball situation. Perrin playing off the back of the court because he's expecting this ball to be touched off the top. Canada's saying the block is going to take the middle of the court, but if they leave a seam, it's going to score.
So Canada pays the price, and the curveball server, Yokota, back in. This one is handled, but Japan in transition again, looking to extend their lead. Perrin, though, gets the chance. Winters, but it's dug. Canada keeps it alive. A tip. Winters again. What a rally here. What a rally. The point of the match. Japan scores on the little roll shot. Tremendous defense.
Well, the Japanese getting contributions from every single player on the floor, starting with Yokota's great float serve again that put Canada on the ropes instantly. And then smart hitting in that difficult situation against a monster block. Look at the gorgeous touch, just paint brushing this over the top of the Canadian block.
And Canada has called another timeout as they need to collect themselves here, need to make that block happen. Can't trade side outs at this point in this set.
And the Japanese, great body language, smiles, a lot of energy. We didn't see this from them in match one. They were flat, they looked tight, playing with some style.
And Yokota, Kazuyoshi Yokota, 194 caps for Team Japan. Set that up with a great serve and some terrific defense. So 21-18 in set number 2. Japan has opened a gap. Canada trying to claw its way back here. The running float is handled. And that's out of the back row by Sunius. The ball down to the floor. The gap is 2.
Crucial side out there for Canada to stop the bleeding. It's the main man on the attack, Dallas Sunius, ripping on the seam there.
That ball right between Suzuki and Yamamura as Fred Winters, Victoria native. Oh, just goes over the top of the tape. High ball. Canada is there on the block. Josh Howitson gets a piece of it, and that's straight down.
That is just a scary wall that Canada's putting up. Fred Winters with the great serve forces the Japanese libero to make the set and allows the giant block to go to work.
You could see the look on Kashikawa's face there as he know that was my fault, you guys. And Gary Sato immediately, the head coach of Japan, calls a timeout.
Charles, I'm sure you've noticed the earpiece in Sato's ear. The coaches are receiving information, the Canadian bench as well, from their scouts positioned throughout the gymnasium, getting a look at what the other team's doing tactically, and the patterns are running.
Well, and you can see the earpiece in the coach's ear as they are receiving real-time information and passing that along. At the same time, their assistant coaches are tracking their stats as well. So it's very sophisticated now at this level. I mean, the amount of information that players are processing, pretty incredible. And small changes make huge differences. Winters again. And this one is handled. 3-meter line pass going outside. The tip's there. Sunius keeps it alive. The block is there. Third time for Japan out of the back row. And this one caught the end line. Japan scores the point.
What we're seeing from Canada, though, although they're down in this set, they're forcing Japan to beat them. They're not giving things away with unforced errors. They're playing high-quality volleyball. Aren't getting all the bounces, but they're making the other team win. That's great to see.
Fukuzawa solid there. Gatsu takes a little bit off and scores an ace. That roll shot just seemed to fool the passers from Team Canada.
Well, you haven't seen this ball from Gatsu. It's a great change of pace. Canadian reception players sat in expecting the heat. Can't react to the short serve.
And here's a substitution on the floor as Matsumoto comes in, big blocking sub, and a substitution on Canada's side as Toon van Lankveld comes in for Fred Winters. Van Lankveld from Rivers, Manitoba, wearing number 10. There's another float serve. This one is always handled perfectly. Off the block, kept alive with a foot play. And here's Japan in transition. Can they get the job done? No, the ball is out of bounds. Looks like we have an injury on the floor. No, looks like maybe a slip.
Well, Gatsu with the foot wedge here, kicking it out to the side to make that initial dig. Awesome reaction from the Japanese defender.
That ball handle, that was so fast that the Canadians did well just to even react to that play. But here's an opportunity from Team Japan on the float serve. It's a tough one. Coming out of the pipe, Canada's there on the block.
And it's Rudy Verhoef. The great read on the second tempo set. Getting way over, the hands over quick, sealing the net. The Japanese extremely frustrated. They were in control up 3 and Canada refusing to roll over and die.
Well, you talked about it earlier, how those middle blockers are starting to groove on that timing, and if you are going to hit it straight ahead, you're going to get blocked. You're going to need to cut that ball around the Canadian blockers.
After that ball's left the setter's hand, the responsibility falls to the attacker to make the right decision. If the set isn't perfect, it's your job to keep it in play, do the best you can with it, and put the other team under pressure. It's the unforced errors that will kill your team.
Little discussion between the libero there and Hondo, the setter. So Canada trailing by 1. They are on the serve. Justin Duff with the serve. Japan trying to get the set point. Canada trying to tie it up. Must win by 2. There's a float taken in the middle. High ball. And this one put to the floor. Can Duff make the ding? No.
Fantastic defensive effort from the Canadians there. Laying it all out on the floor to try to keep that ball alive. But Japan with just a thundering side-out shot, cross-court rip there when they needed it most, restoring a bit of confidence.
Well, set point for Japan in this second set. They trail 1-0. And it is a huge serve that goes long. Canada still alive.
Well, Koshikawa has been anything but clutch in the tight parts of a set. Match number 1 against the Canadians. Terrible roll shot at the end of the match that came up short. And now with the set on the line, blows that one, albeit a good miss. Still missed it, didn't give his team a chance.
Dustin Schneider is back in for Josh Howitson. Huge serve for him now. Important to put this ball into play, but it's handled by Nagano. Set to the outside, off the block, off the defense. That scores the point. Fukuzawa puts the ball away. Japan wins set number 2, 25-23. We're tied at 1.
Over the years, my goals as a player have changed. And when I first joined the national team, I wanted to be the best. What's more important to me is team success now. I really want to see our national team do well. I think it takes a lot of commitment, time commitment, as well as a mental and physical commitment.
Switch to Swiffer WetJet, and you'll dump your old mop. But don't worry, he'll find someone else.
Who's that lady? Sexy lady.
Swiffer Wet Jet starts with a clean pad every time, and its antibacterial floor cleaner kills bacteria mops can spread around. Swiffer gives cleaning a whole new meaning. And try new Swiffer Wet Jet Extra Power Pads with the scrubbing power of Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Welcome back to World League as Canada is talking over their strategy for set number 3 after dropping set number 2. Take a look at the stats from that set, Paul.
Well, a big story tonight for the Japanese is the improvement in their blocking. The blocking, they've got 5 stuff blocks in that set. They weren't able to make an impression on the Canadian attackers in match number 1. That's a different story here in match number 2.
And their errors much lower than the last match. Canadians maybe looking a little tight at times in that set. And volleyball, a game of momentum. You need to play freely.
That's right. We talked about the body language. You can see the frustration of the Canadian players after not coming up with a dig or making a block. A normal situation, well, that's tossed in the mental filing cabinet. They'll think about it later after the match, get on to the next point. But showing the frustration, wanting to make it happen right away, wanting to get those 2 sets they need to get that ticket to the finals.
Well, and you can't rush. You have to be very patient, as Glenn Hoag said in the timeout, just 1 point, 1 skill at a time. Kashikawa puts the ball into play for Team Japan in set number 3. This one is handled. Sunius. Japan in transition. And another dig in the back row. This time it's finished by Gatsu, and Japan seems to be winning the majority of those big rallies.
It's their team defense that's come together here against the Canadians. The blocks getting pieces of the balls, their defense is picking everything up, and their attackers are simply limiting those unforced errors, putting the pressure on and hitting some great shots.
And 9 kills there from Gatsu, as you saw on that statistic, as Japan takes the early lead. Again, Nagano just tosses out a hand, makes the dig. Another opportunity. This is Gatsu again.
And Gatsu again finding a way. He's hitting sharp cross, pounding balls down the line. Whatever Canada gives him with a block, he takes it.
And you could see that ball hit with such power. Fred Winters was very close to it, but had no time even to move his arm out to try to make a dig on the play. So Japan in rhythm right now, in flow. This one is finished by Gord Perrin on a late close in the inside.
Well, Japan's made some adjustments. Canada has to make the same type of thing with their defense. Their side-out game has been steady, but defensively, the block and dig hasn't been as sharp as normal for the Canadians.
And the passing a lot better for Team Japan, as there's a reload opportunity and a little soft attack, and then just pounced on in the middle.
Well, Suzuki with the heads-up play there, that ball in the plane of the net, he quickly flushes it down. The Canadians appealing, saying that it hadn't left their side of the court. They were looking to make the defensive play, but Suzuki had other ideas.
So 3-1 Japan, make that 3-2 as that serve goes out of bounds from Suzuki.
So you have a look there, Dan Lewis, defensive quarterback for the Canadians. Needs to impose his game, take some control out there.
And Canada answers back with a miss of their own, just trading missed serves here early in set number 3.
It's been a grueling competition for the Canadians. This is match number 10 for them. On the road for a couple weeks now, having to dig deep here to find some energy.
And there's a bit of a miscue. The ball is just put over the net. Opportunity for Japan, off the blocker's hands and out of bounds. And again, those wings just are unstoppable.
They are, Canada, completely frustrated right now. not bringing any energy to the floor, looking for a spark. The feet are looking a little bit sluggish at this point.
Fukuzawa is just on fire as Kondo puts the ball in play. And the block is there, but Verhoef hitting with enough power to force it back 10 meters and behind the end line.
And it's Dan Lewis sliding through the back of the court to make sure this one's going out, taking no chances with any ball.
And that was Yamamura just a little bit late on the block. And Rudy Verhoef has a chance to put that ball into action. Verhoef, Calgary, Alberta native. And this one is pummeled in the middle by Yamamura, the captain.
Well, again, we're seeing Canada's most dominant skill throughout the competition. Their block ineffective here in set number 3. Normally Canada's getting a piece of shots like this, allowing the defense to have a chance. But the Japanese are making a lot of movements and cuts in their approaches, creating space and opening up seams.
And there's a big serve that goes long. And so far, half Canada's points, I think, have come from missed serves, maybe even 3 out of the 4 on missed serves. And in rally point, you miss a serve, it costs you a point. Ball's forced into the middle, but the block is there. However, another opportunity on the reload. Does not go. Canada scores the point. Justin Duff is there.
Justin Duff is so fast over the net. Look at this explosion. Gets the hands way over. Doesn't need to touch the ball as the Japanese buried in the net there, but so quick penetrating.
And once again, another second opportunity for Japan. This one, though, is kept alive. Dallas Sunius out of the back row. The blockers getting a touch on the ball. And there's a push shot from Gatsu, changed up the tempo. Again, looked like it was off the outside block. Fred Winters. Fred Winters.
Well, Winters recognized the situation there. Gatsu had a hitch in his approach, slowed down. Winters read that, tried to make his target of his block smaller, but Gatsu, fantastic shot there. Change of pace for the point.
Everything working for Gatsu right now. Oh, huge shot in the middle.
I love it. Dan Lewis coming in the huddle there with the pose down, showing the guns. The double gun salute for Duff's monster shot here. Again, the Japanese middle blockers need to commit. If Canada can run high, strong middle, they can run it all night long. Force those Japanese blockers to get into the air in the middle and free up the outsides.
Well, Canada needs a bit more of that animation, and that's not going to get it for them as Japan opens a 2-point gap at the first technical timeout.
Coors Light Iced Tea.
Many hot dogs are within you. Try Pepto-Bismol to go. It's the power of Pepto, but it fits in your pocket. Now tell the world, Daniel, of Pepto-Bismol to go.
I'm sure you've noticed at home when Fred Winters is serving the ball, the beautiful face tattooed to his arm. That's the face of his grandmother. He had an incredibly close relationship with her, and a special ritual between them involving 9 kisses or 16 kisses, I believe. And when I played with Fred in Poche, he just said that they had a great relationship. I asked him about it. He's kind of quiet about it and just know it's a special thing, and that's his memorial and tribute to her there.
And Gatsu. Ball is taken to the outside, and that one is pumped down by Gord Perrin. And Canada looking very businesslike there.
Well, that's right, and this is the ripple effect of that huge shot from Duff. Japanese middle blocker now respecting Duff's attack, committing, freeing up the one-on-one for Perrin. Point.
And Justin Duff goes with the short serve, and that is the second one in a row. First one from Winters, second one from Duff. And that was not even close.
Well, the Canadian servers tactically, with those jump floats, are trying to slow down the Japanese offense, serving the ball into the traffic patterns, trying to disrupt their approach. Obviously trying to go for the really short serve, and that one falling behind the setter's head would disrupt the middle and the opposite coming around.
Japan, on the other hand, is just going with heat as Kashikawa about to launch one. And there's a massive pipe shot. Catches a piece of the block. See, the Japanese players were signaling out, but they're not going to get that call.
And top left of your screen is Gatsu. He's rattled after this one. It almost brushes his cheek as it goes by. He was looking at his teammates. What happened?
And there's a ball that's cut off, set to the outside. And this one is called in deep cross court. Boy, that looked like it went over top of the block.
It did.
Incredible shot.
Fukuzawa getting up, going way, way up for that ball, ripping deep cross court.
Well, it shows you the explosiveness of these wing attackers. Great pass from Canada. This is Verhoef, and this one is straight down. And like you say, boy, when the pass is there and the tempo is there, Canada can score at will out of the middle.
They can if the middles keep their space. If they stay off the net and attack that ball half a meter to a full meter off the net, the Japanese blockers simply can't reach far enough over to get it.
And this one is kept in. It's an over bump. Here's a chance for Canada. Sunius. Ball is hit out of bounds.
And it's the little things. Great serve from the Canadians, but Verhoef unable to put away on the initial contact. They have to clean up that stuff, be tighter.
Well, and those missed opportunities are the ones that stay with you. Here's a float serve taken tight to the net. And it's out of the back row, a little too tight. Gatsu is there, massive celebration, and Japan is jacked.
They are. This is payback for the Japanese block, unable to stop Perrin in most instances. Gatsu with a huge read, and Yamamura hanging on to throw up a massive double block.
And Canada has called a timeout, and you talked about it. You see the difference between these two teams. It's stark contrast right now.
They're going to need to fight. They're going to be rallies. They're digging balls, Japan guys. So it's going to be, you need to be ready, be loaded, go back at them again, get ready on defense, not be surprised and scared that they're going to rally against them. Okay, forget now about the outcome and start playing. Go, take it, boys. Let's go. 1, 2, let's go, come on.
When you hear the words of Coach Hogue there, don't be surprised or scared as they come back at us, as they bring those balls back. And we talked about it, Japan, incredible defensively, incredibly well-skilled players. Those initial attacks will come back up. You have to stay with it and be relentless with your offense. Canada falling back on their heels and playing tentatively.
Well, and they haven't been able to complete in transition until the last 4 matches of World League, where they went 3-1. And there's an error. Ball, Fred Winters going for the blocker's hands, but blows it out of bounds. He's going to take a rest as Toon van Lankveld comes back in. And Canada looks a little rattled.
They are, and I won't be surprised to see more changes from Glenn Hogue. He knows the team isn't in this mentally right now. They're playing tentatively. He needs to get the guys aggressive and fighting.
Canada perhaps thinking too much at this point. And that ball is served out of bounds. The target was the substitute, Van Lankveld, but Japan trying to be just too accurate. So Canada down by 3, need to mount a bit of a comeback here. And that ball is taken perfectly out of the back row. There's a chance for Van Lankveld off the block. Wow, Nagano makes the one-arm dig, but can't bring it back. The substitute scores the point for Canada.
Great first swing there for Toon van Lankveld. Nagano, huge effort, 12 digs. Match number 1 against Canada. Defensively, he's fantastic, so quick, makes great reads, and stable initially on defense.
Well, Van Lankveld, also a veteran. 28 years of age as Canada makes that block. Here's one out of the pipe, kept alive. Canada with a chance here. Little tip. The set. And the block this time is right there, as you see Duff coming back with a big smile on his face.
And it's Duff lining up tight with Van Langfeldt. Check out the height of that block. Sealing of the antenna perfectly, nowhere for the Japanese to go.
Well, you could see that about to happen there. Big smile on the face of Fukuzawa. He just ran into a Canadian wall. So very quickly after that substitution, Van Langfeldt coming in, the dynamic has changed a little bit. Canada closing the gap.
It has. He's injected energy, and that's what Canada needs. They got to play with some passion here. Van Langfeldt, who made an appearance early in the World League campaign against Holland in a similar situation in match number 2 when we were playing the Dutch. Canada was flat, second and third set. Van Langfeldt came in, executed on all the skills, and did a great job.
University of Manitoba graduate, Stone Van Langfeldt. Played in France last season. So here we go, Canada on a bit of a roll, trying to close that gap. Tough float serve, but a perfect pass, set to the outside. And this one is put away, and it's Gotsu with the fast feet.
Gotsu continuing to impress, able to score from all positions on the floor, and leading the team emotionally as he did in match number 1. Limitless energy, this guy.
So a 2-point lead, 14-12 in set number 3. The big breath from Fukuzawa. He is going to go with the high roll shot. Duff off the block, hitting straight down and out of bounds.
And although Canada got the point, that's what we don't want to see. Duff's got to use that height. Don't even give the Japanese block a chance. Go right over top, deep corners.
You can't give in to temptation. And Sunius with the miss maintains the Japanese lead at 2. This is Yamamura, the float server. Puts this one into the net, though, and gives Canada the free point. The gap now only 1 point. Canada down by as many as 3 or 4 at one stage in the set before Glenn Hogue made a substitution, taking Winters out, giving him a chance for a breather, while Tone Van Langfeldt comes in with a serve, hits the top of the tape. And a huge rip cross court. Dan Lewis can't make the dig. So Japan steady here in set number 3, up by 2 over Team Canada.
Over the years, my goals as a player have changed. And when I first joined the national team, you know, I wanted to be the best. What's more important to me is team success now. I really want to see our national team do well. I think it takes a lot of commitment, time commitment, as well as like a mental and physical commitment.
This is the story of Johnson.
That Johnson kid. He's gifted. What's this?
Normal kid, sports prodigy.
Hi, Johnson. Who do you like tonight?
Bless him.
Give me 200 on Quebec tonight.
High five.
Sportsnet 360. Fuel your sports IQ.
Sportsnet 360 is the new home for breaking news.
I'll tell him now because the deal's over, but I was all in. I'm going to speak straight from my heart. I'm home.
More scores, more stats.
Swing in a drive, and it is out of here!
More highlights for every sport. And the only sports ticker you'll ever need. Every sport, every story, every angle. The all-new Sportsnet 360. Fuel your sports IQ.
Welcome back to Osaka, Japan. here in this final World League match of preliminary action between Canada and Japan. Canada coming off a 3-1 win in the last match. Are tied right now at 1 set apiece and trailing by 2 in this third set against a much different Japanese team, much more dynamic and aggressive. Ball taken in the middle, and Sunius is dug, but that ball is out of bounds. You see, Gord Perrin was protecting the court there, not letting any Japanese player come onto his side as Kondo comes back in.
Well, Perrin made a nice play there. He can't leave the playing surface, the pinkish colored floor there, so he went right to the sideline to block as much as he could and slow the Japanese player down.
Justin Duff, high ball to the outside, again off the blocker's hands, and this is just routine. Kashikawa and Fukuzawa are just golden on the outside.
Well, they are. The big three for Japan, their outsides, Gatsu, Koshikawa, and Fukuzawa, all in double digits scoring offensively.
So Kashikawa puts the ball into play, 28 years old. He's an Olympian. Oh, and there's a little tip, but it's Doug coming out of the back row. The block, though, is right there. Rudy Verhoof with the stop.
Great job by the Canadians, disciplined, all the blockers dialed in and reading, and again going up as a unit. Good communication pre-attack there. The silver lining here, Canada not playing their best ball, but down a point.
And there's the serve taken, outside shot. Once again, that same cross-court shot. Lewis just can't contain the heat. Not sure how that ball is getting by the block. Oh, there's the big gap right there. Deep corner.
The set's falling inside. Sunius stepping a little far out on the line opens up too much of an angle for the left side from Japan.
Perfect pass. And that ball is in, and it's another deep shot. And boy, these are very, very tough to dig when they're deep like that.
They are. This is a perfect attack from Perrin. High and deep. For a defender to get in position to dig that ball is incredibly difficult. There's simply not enough time.
Well, right in the intersection of the two lines there was Gord Perrin. And he rips this one. It is in. It's a clean ace straight to the floor. Topspin, side spin.
As we saw in match number 1, Gord Perrin showing some leadership, taking it on his shoulders, getting it done for Canada at a crucial point in a set.
And taking a little bit off this one. The block, though, is right there. And the referee is signaling over the net violation. Boy, a couple of these calls.
Well, look as though the Canadian block, you'll see Kondo goes up for this. And initially the contact's on the plane, but you see the hands of Verhoof folding over top of the ball, which you can't do. You have to stay straight up vertically in line with the plane of the net there.
So Kondo gets away with it. Canada in transition. Sunius again tries to wipe off the block, but Nagano is there. And there's the back row attack off the blocker's hands and out of bounds. Kashikawa, all kinds of power.
The Japanese attackers simply finding a way to score, whether it's tips, rolls, change of pace, angle. They've watched some tape and have learned their lesson.
And Canada has called a timeout on the play. Just take a little bit of a listen here.
Play our system.
Well, Dallas Sunius stepping up with some words of confidence for the group, telling the boys to stay the course. Exactly right. They simply have to stick to the game plan and execute. Don't try to overdo things.
So Canadians looking for a little inspiration down the stretch here. Kind of slow down this Japanese team that has really found their rhythm, especially in conversion on the transition opportunities as Kashikawa goes back, or Kondo rather. Oh, and that one is just drilled one-on-one. Sunia straight down.
Well, Sunia's actions now speaking louder than his words in the timeout. Incredible shot there. 2.5 meters off the net.
Sunia's 27 years of age, coming off shoulder surgery, showing no ill effects of it here. This one, dug down the line, kept alive by Team Canada. Great defense. Another shot, and this one absolutely stuffed block. That's the kind of play that will get you jacked up.
Rudy Verhoef coming through with the chest dig down the line. Check it out. Dallas Sunias with keeping the ball in play, and then the block of Duff and Van Langfeldt to wrap it up at the end. But Verhoef just strapping that ball on, getting his feet in position and wearing it for the team.
Well, a timeout called by Japan as Canada's mounting a bit of a push here. As we talked about off the top, Canada only has to win 2 sets in order to win the pool. So they don't even have to win the match, but it's crucial that they win 2 sets as we take a look at the standings. And you see right there that the Netherlands is up by a point. If Canada wins 3-0, 3-1, they score 3 points. If they win 3-2, they score 2 points. If they lose 3-2, they score a point. So that would tie them with the Netherlands, but they are ahead on the tiebreaker. So this is absolutely crunch time for the Canadian team. All, we're in the red zone here. And that serve to the outside, the big block. Finally, Dallas Sunias gets a piece on the outside. The ball falls to the floor.
Great blocking by the Canadians. Disciplined, excellent lateral movement, staying tight to the net, and Sunias going up huge. Again, leading by example.
Well, Gatsu finally gets stopped. It's been a rare stop so far in this match as he has really led Team Japan. This ball is tight to the net. It's hit out of bounds. Referee, though, I believe is signaling a touch on the ball.
Well, by a fingernail. Japan here. It's the captain. A tiny piece of Duff there. You'll see his middle finger flick back on the penetration. Just enough for the point. Keeping Japan in it here as they're on the ropes.
Fukuzawa, last few have been out. He's hit them hard, but they've been out. But this one is in. Perfect pass. Duff off the block. Tries to go sharp cross court. It's just over the head of Kondo.
I can't say enough about the Canadian reception. Under enormous pressure here, Gord Perrin dimes this ball for the setter. Huge play again from Perrin.
And a tactical substitution from Team Canada as Josh Howitson comes in to replace Dustin Schneider. Canada looking for that front row power, big block. And there's a back row shot. Everybody is fooled.
Japan refusing to die as well. This pipe play so effective for them. Canada's got a bit of a read on it. Duff buys the middle set that time. Canada can't defend. And it's the super serving sub with that jump float. Yokota coming in. He's continually gone down the line at the front row power hitter, trying to slow down that attacker, give the Japanese block a look at the middle and Canada's right side.
So we'll see what he does here as Yokota gets set to put the ball into play. Tough serve. Tone Van Langeveld gonna take a rip at it. It's off the block, but it's a reset. Japan's in transition, coming out of the back row. Another shot at it. Little tip over the net. Sprawling save from Lewis. Ragged play. Here's Japan. Can they get it done? Yes.
Oh, and a breakdown there for the Canadians. Dallas Sunias with a chance to set a high ball. He felt he wanted to go with Perrin. He had Van Langfeldt out in the front row. Elected to set the ball in between both of them. Canada unable to get a swing on it, and Japan capitalizes on the error.
And Japan takes a 1-point lead here in the late stages of set number 3. It's 23-22.
And it was Yokota again with that tactical serve, so effective for the Japanese.
This one is handled. Oh, and there's looked like a headshot. Looked like Yokota took that one right in the bean. Van Lankveld very quick in.
Well, Van Lankveld hustling here. You see he's being moved to his right in court to pass that ball. It's a great serve by the Japanese to try to take him out, but he hustles, gets in position, and comes up with a huge swing.
So Canada going to be looking to get that front row involved. Japan, all kinds of offense here from the wings, from the back row. The big man, Gatsu, on the right side. Huge point here. Oh, and that ball is served long. A free point handed to Japan, and that sets up a set point in set number 3. And Van Lankveld comes out. Winters goes in.
Winters, incredibly solid serve-receive player in to make the pass here.
Gatsu. Perfect pass. Set into the middle. Kept alive, though. Here's a chance. Canada. Oh, and the ball is put down. No, it's stepped alive. Finally put down by Gord Perrin. Unbelievable. I thought that ball was down in the first place. Somehow it came up.
I don't know what to say about that. Perrin, again with a clutch play, the presence to seal the deal for Canada, but Japan relentless. Gatsu with an unreal dig on Justin Duff there to keep that alive initially for Japan.
So Canada backs against the wall, battling this Japanese team. We're tied. Duff. Ball is set to the middle, and it's put away on a perfect pass. Perfect middle combination.
Great choice by Kondo, the Japanese setter. He's gone away from the middle time and time again here in the crunch. Canada not expecting that attack. Canadian middle blockers flat-footed in a read situation, keying on the outside attackers. Suzuki, no one there in front of him, makes the point.
Well, another big play as we're in overtime here. Japan, second set point. The big server here. This one is handled. Oh, and there's the center's dump, kept alive. Can it go over? No. Boy, that pass was so tight to the net. Heads up play to put that ball down.
Well, a great flush here by Schneider. Recognizing the blocker's not with him, the middle's got to have his hands up on that to have any hope of touching it. The Japanese willing that ball off of the floor.
So we're all tied again, and Simak now, and we haven't seen him since early in set number 1. Key substitution here. Dustin Schneider. And a little float serves, handled easily. Another middle shot. Off the block and rolls out of bounds. As Verhoef is back, and Japan scores that point, and that is set point number 3. As more substitutions happening here for Team Japan.
Yoneyama coming in, he was a serving sub before, and it's the captain number 12, Yamamura, back in to block in the front row. Late in this set, it's been a little bit of a chess match with the middles, making the right decisions, and both setters utilizing their middles to get crucial kills.
Set point number 3 for Team Japan here in the third set. We're tied at 1 apiece. Must win by 2. Little easy float serve, handled in the middle. Oh, and there's the ball. It was blocked, but it ricocheted off Dalasunius. It's kept alive. Japan in transition, chance to finish it here, and it is absolutely thrashed down to the ground. Japan scores the point. Canada in a do-or-die situation now, trailing 2-1 here in World League action.
Over the years, my goals as a player have changed. And when I first joined the national team, I wanted to be the best. What's more important to me is team success now. I really want to see our national team do well. I think it takes a lot of commitment, time commitment, as well as like a mental and physical commitment too.
Gary Sato, head coach of Team Japan, pleased with the performance of his team. Such a turnaround from the last match against Canada. Everything going their way right now as you take a look at those set stats.
And the Japanese attacking has been night and day from match number 1. Take a look at the numbers, specifically with the Japanese outsides. It's Fukuzawa 13 kills, Gatsu with 12, and Koshikawa with 15. Only 4 kills each for both Japanese middles, but incredibly timely kills. Used at the right moments by Kondo. Excellent choices, frustrating Canada, and putting Japan on top.
Shigeru Kondo able to run that offense because the passing's so much better from Team Japan here in this match. So Canada took the first set. They've dropped the second and third sets here by 2 points each time. And remember, Canada has to make this go at least 5 sets now. They've got to win 2 sets.
It all comes down to this for the Canadians. 25 points for a ticket to the final or a trip home. The Canadian play picked up tremendously towards the end of that set. The quality was back. It was that slow, tight start which cost them dearly.
Well, and you know, we talked about it right off the top, how much trouble the Netherlands had with Finland. They had an opportunity to seal the deal as well, and Finland came back and bit them 1-3-1. We talked about how difficult it is sometimes to get that last win, and Japan certainly not going to make it easy for Canada. Oh, and this one is dug. Finally, Canada gets a dig, but there's a net touch.
Unlucky for the Canadians, Dan Lewis getting into position on the line there, making a great dig. Again, the net touch letting Team Canada down.
Oh, and there's a great shot out of the back row. Totally fooled the block.
Well, the Canadian offense going with what's been working here, that combination of a quick ball in front, pipe coming over top of it, highly effective.
Gord Perrin, a little bit long, putting an extra bit of juice on that ball, just out the back.
For the third time tonight, nearly catching Gatsu as he's making his run around in position 1 for his approach.
So Kondo, the float server. And that ball is tight to the net, but it's kept alive. And that ball deep right on the very end line. Beautiful save from Dustin Schneider.
Great set from Schneider, getting up, flicking this one-handed outside, and Winters going high and deep, well in the court.
And here's some trouble for Team Japan. But it's just a little roll shot, 3/4 deep, and that scores. There's nobody there.
Gatsu again showing that experience. He's played so many matches for the Japanese squad. 151 times he's put the jersey on for Japan. Has the experience to get out of a jam against that big block.
Canadian defense playing very deep, expecting the block to get a piece of that ball. So they're vulnerable in that spot. And again, another deep serve. And this one touches the hand of Kondo. Not sure if that ball would have been in or not, but Kondo stuck the arm out.
Hard to tell, but that ball's getting on a defender so fast that you don't have time to truly make a decision, yes or no. You either commit and touch it, A good rule of thumb is if it's up by your shoulders, it's out. If it's down low, it's going to be in.
And another serve by Canada put out of bounds. 2 in a row.
Canada needing to dial up that service pressure, though. We will see some misses as they try to do that.
And there's a 3-meter line pass, a force into the middle, but it's kept up. Japan on the attack. Oh, and the block was there. It was a lift ball. You could see, I'm not sure who that was up in the air. It looked like Suzuki. He said, no, it was my fist.
Suzuki appealing that he used a fist, but the head referee says no. This is the lift all the way. You see there, incredibly athletic move in the air, but
looked like a little ballet
not
move.
allowed.
And Suzuki acknowledging the referee. And Winters tight to the net. Oh, looked like Duff went up with the center. And it was a nice save.
It did. It was Kondo elevating there. He's only 186 centimeters tall, but he gets up. Look at the athleticism. Saves this ball and dishes up a nice set for Suzuki.
Oh, it was Gord Perrin trying to stuff that ball. Gatsu, we've seen him hit some hard ones, but we've also seen him hit some soft ones. What a beautiful play. What a great pass, set, and attack combination.
4 incredible contacts. A great serve from the Japanese. Fred Winters dishes up the dime pass right on the net for Schneider. And Perrin bounces this ball.
Tough serve. Justin Duff puts the ball in play. There's some trouble for Japan. There's a big shot opportunity, and again, that is Kashikawa just seeming to find that block and rolls it off Schneider's arms.
And that's been the difference here in this match. Japan able to hit out of those trouble situations when they have a bad pass. Unable to do that in match number 1.
Kashikawa, 28-year-old, 189 meters tall. Not a big man for the wing. Sunius, but the block is there. In transition, here comes Japan. Chance for Canada. Gord Perrin, but it's kept alive. Fantastic defense. Nagano keeps the ball in play. Finally, Canada coming out of the middle with authority.
Awesome stuff from the Canadians. Tenacious, staying on it and staying focused. Not losing the discipline in that longer rally. Pays off with the point, and it's great middle attacking, and it's that high, hard, deep middle that's going to be so tough for Japan to stop.
Well, and Japan's defense is just incredible, but as you say, Canada needs to really focus on putting that ball to the floor, no matter how many times it takes, has to go to the floor. Another weaker pass goes to the outside. This one Lewis is there for. Here's a chance. Kept alive. Perrin. Great dig from Nagano. The roll shot. Here comes Canada. And it's another miscue in the middle. And Japan capitalizes. Not sure why that ball was set to the middle, but Japan capitalizes on that. Fukazawa puts it away.
Well, this match so tight, you're seeing that one error by any team is costing a point. You can't get away with anything but full speed. Canadians unlucky there, miscue with the middle.
The play certainly heating up here now. More rallies as that ball is put to the floor. No rally there from Perrin.
Well, the fast back set from Schneider allows Perrin to go straight on the line without a Japanese blocker in front of him. They got 2 blocks up. They couldn't get far enough out to stop Perrin. And Dan Lewis has stepped up defensively as well for the Canadians.
Well, Perrin goes to the float after missing the last one. Set into the middle. Again, it's a little squib shot that goes off the Canadian block and down to the floor. Gives Japan the lead at the technical timeout.
He could be the one. Soulmate. Husband. Loving father to your children. But first, you've got to get him to say hello. New Crest 3D White Arctic Fresh toothpaste. Use it with these 3D White products and whiten your teeth in just 2 days. What will a 3D White smile do for you? New Crest 3D White toothpaste. Life opens up when you do.
At Kia, the 2014s are already here at clear-out rates with 0% financing for up to 84 months on the all-new Forte, inspired by tech culture, with Bluetooth and available UVO infotainment system, and the all-new versatile 2014 Rondo, Canada's urban utility vehicle, with available 7-passenger seating, or the refined 2014 Sorento, with available panoramic sunroof and V6 engine. Kia's early arrivals event, this month only, with clear-out rates like 0% financing for up to 84 months on select new 2014s.
More than 20 years ago, Canada had its first World League campaign, a watered-down World League in terms of the number of teams, with a 7th place finish. Here they are, trying to win Pool C for their best ever finish. It would guarantee them a top 6 finish. The pressure so high, so heavy on these Canadian players right now.
I'm getting the sense that the Canadian players are almost getting used to that pressure in the second set. They put a lot on themselves in the third set. It's got to start to be feeling normal now, deep into a fourth set. That pressure's still there, continually mounting. And the quality of play from both teams is just going up and up. It's been a fantastic match. Canada has to find a way to shift gears and take it to the max here, get the finish they need.
Yes, some incredible rallies on both sides of the court. Ball is kept alive. Sounias with a second chance. This one goes off the block. And it looked like Gatsu's hands found its way through.
Well, Japan has made so many adjustments in their game from match 1. Canada's hitters highly efficient, slicing and dicing, and the Japanese block now getting a piece of almost everything.
Rudy Verhoof, tough serve, and that one into the net as well. Canada will have an opportunity to, nope, they won't. I was going to say to bring that ball back against Japan, but that serve well out the back as well. Both teams really trying to go hard from the service line.
They are in Fukuzawa there with a home run. That one's going downtown.
Sounias goes with the float. Oh, there's trouble. Oh, Nagano kept alive by Canada. Sounias out of the back row, off the blocker's hands. Canada scores a transition point. Well needed.
All smiles from the Canadians there. They know they got a great bounce. Sounias, short approach, still able to elevate, his body twisting in the air as he pulls that down the line.
Ball's hit a little bit lower to the top of the tape there from Sounias. Dangerous play, but it scores the point for Canada. And here's another errant pass. But Gatsu just drills this one. Man, that is just a laser beam.
You can see the timing is absolutely perfect here. Kondo and Gatsu are just connected. He's flowing into these swings. He's got his whole approach and body weight flowing into it every single time to generate maximum power.
Bit of a rushed play. Gives a free ball over to Japan. There's another chance for Gatsu. He takes something off it, but the dig is made. Fred Winters goes deep. Japan in transition. Here's one of those big outside swings. Winters again, this time just too much power. Said, I've had enough.
Well, that's what I want to see from Winters, that initial deep tip shot he made. I felt he's got to bring this power that he's got, use his height and the power, force the Japanese to try to stop that.
And Suzuki's hand, you could see it just gets blown back by the raw power from Fred Winters at the end of that play. And Winters with a big serve, but it's handled easily. There's a shot to the middle, kept alive by Lewis. Outside, kept alive again. Canada fighting hard. And the block is there. Canada rewarded for incredible pursuit.
Great hustle from the Canadian defense. A little nuance here is Dustin Schneider, who did a great thing. Canada scrambling on defense. He had to bump the ball over the net, but what he did is he put it into position too short, which jammed the Japanese middle and gave the Canadian block a chance to regroup and slam that ball.
Well, and just to show you how tight it is, both teams in this match have scored 85 points. Japan is up 2-1, but in terms of the total number of points scored, identical, very close.
It's been an absolute show from both teams here. High-level volleyball, great quality. Again, teams are winning points as opposed to giving up those unforced errors we saw in match 1 to give them away.
So as you go deep into a match like this, is this where size starts to be a factor, where the bigger players can be more dominant at the net, the smaller players maybe getting a little fatigued?
I'd have to answer yes, and definitely in those longer rally situations, when you're able to get back to the net, you're scrambling to just quickly get some sort of block up over the net. That size advantage comes into play, and we saw that in match number 2 against the Dutch. Incredibly tall team, average starting lineup height of around 6'9". They seem to simply wear Canada down physically in sets 3 and 4 in match number 2, which we dropped to them.
So Canada has opened a 2-point gap here in a crucial set number 4. And this one is a clean ace straight down the line. Fred Winters, last 2 or 3 points, stepped up his game.
That's right, the captain with a laser down the line. And Canada opening up its first cushion in 3 sets of play here.
Now, if you call 3 points a cushion, a little bit coming off that ball. The block is there, but just can't contain the speed of Kashikawa's arm.
Japan running their offense straight at Dustin Schneider here. Schneider, an excellent blocker. Normally when the ball's hitting his hands, he does a good job of keeping it in play. That one twisted out a little bit, got away from him.
So Canada looking to be consistent here. Gatsu looking to put some heat on this ball. Oh, and he just crushes that ball, set tight to the net. Somehow finds its way in against Suzuki.
Well, Justin Duff doing an amazing job moving from right to left as this pass is pushed in front of him, and then just getting everything he can to shove that letter into the mailbox and score the point.
So Justin Duff, second match back after injury. And there's a dig from Duff, but Canada, the front row, not quick enough to be able to react.
In this rotation, we saw Canada making adjustments earlier, switch blocking Schneider and Perrin. This time staying in a standard formation, Japan capitalizing one-on-one, going at Schneider. Kashikawa making no mistake cross court.
So both teams incredibly consistent. Errors kept to a minimum here. Huge stakes for both teams. Japan trying to stay out of the bottom of the pool. Canada trying to be number 1. Oh, and another massive serve. Set to the outside. Is it off the tape or the block? Japanese players are saying no touch. An error. Canadian error, and that closes the gap.
Well, a rare one there from Gord Perrin, going for just a little too much cross court.
Boy, that was set up with a massive serve, though. The last couple of serves from Japan, all kinds of heat. And Canada decides to take a bit of a timeout. Up by 3 points, and now up by 1 on some incredibly tough serving from Team Japan. And when you're in Japan's situation, I mean, you got nothing to lose, right? Like, you're just going to go for it.
That's right, nothing to lose and so much to gain. Back there on the service line, these servers are dangerous. You don't want to get them on a roll, and if they get that first big one in, builds the confidence, and you get that feeling, you can dial it in and normally ramp it up for serves 2, 3, 4. Glenn Hoag with a great timeout here, stopping any possible momentum run, hopefully that Japan can create.
You see the Canadian players on the sidelines, Louis-Pierre Manville trying to pump up the guys on the floor, keep them involved in what's going on. They may be called upon at any moment under Glenn's system to come in and make a crucial serve or maybe a big block.
That's right, they know that. Glenn always communicating with the guys, letting them know when he needs them to come in and step into a role, be it get that block, make a dig.
So Kashikawa, another opportunity to put the ball in play. Takes a bit off this one, it's handled. And Perrin this time, no problem, one-on-one against Kondo on the outside.
Well, at this point, I expect nothing less from Gord Perrin. He's been stellar against Japan and shows it here again. Coming back from that mistake, right away stays the ship with a great kill.
Right over the top as Canada with an opportunity here again to extend the lead. Set to the middle, dig is made, here's Canada. Big opportunity for Perrin. No, he has to go with the tip. Here's a shot out of the back row, left back position from Kashikawa. Unusual but deadly.
Great transition from the Japanese. It is an unusual set to see the back row player. Instead of coming for a pipe, he's swinging around in position 5. Saw that his man on the left side was down and called for that ball with the audible play.
So beautiful transition for Team Japan as Yokota is back in again. We've seen him be so effective from the service line. He's got a real curveball serve. This one is handled easily into the middle and takes a piece of Yokota on its way out of bounds. And at the technical timeout, Canada leading Japan by 2, looking to gain the advantage.
Odors aren't the only things that get on fabric.
Go get it, Chopper.
Odors caused by bacteria do too. Febreze antibacterial fabric refresher eliminates odors caused by bacteria on fabrics and leaves them fresh air clean.
Randall, it's my turn. Go get it, boy.
Febreze antibacterial. It's that fresh.
Welcome back to Osaka, Japan. Canada is 9 points away from winning Pool C and booking their ticket to Argentina for the final round, but they will be the 9 toughest points that they've ever earned as the ball is kept alive from Nagano, and another ball kept alive by Canada. Transition. Big shot. This time goes off the defense and out of bounds. Dallas Sunius.
007 licensed to kill. Dallas Sunius. Monster shot there and another big rally.
And boy, these teams are just trading heavy blows and the ball is coming back.
They are. This is what we wanted to see. Fantastic stuff. A high quality match.
And Perrin goes back to the float serve. A little bit of difficulty, but it's outside. This time it is an absolute stuff. Rudy Verhoof and Dallas Sunius on Kashikawa. What a timely block.
The Canadians are jacked up right now. Dallas Sunius elevating. Head above the net. Call that one pits. He's got the armpits up above the tape there. Slamming it home for another Canadian point.
And Japan has called a timeout. Gary Sato wants to talk this over. Take a listen here.
You have to be a threat, all right? And available, because that's open. Yeah, yeah. But we'll get a good pass. Yeah, keep swinging high. They got lucky on that one.
Sounded like they were talking about you've got to be a threat. So even if you're not going to get set, maybe if you're in the middle or you're running the right side, you have to be a threat.
It's exactly that. The middle blocker, if you feel this pass off the net or you're a little late, you still need to make some movement, try to attract the other blockers, get in the air, be a threat. That's exactly what the coach is asking for. You can't get lazy, and Canada has been good at that. Their hitters in transition are getting off the net. We're getting multiple attackers coming at the Japanese.
So you got to be a salesman out there as well as an efficient attacker. And Perrin off the top of the tapes, kept alive. Here's Gatsu with a chance. Oh, Dustin Schneider off his arm. Gatsu with immense power.
Mr. Clutch for the Japanese squad, 16 Gatsu. One-on-one with Winters. Fred with 5 stuff blocks. Last match hasn't dialed in on number 16 tonight.
Yes, Canada much more difficult tonight. Blocking against this Japanese team. The ball distribution just so effective. And this is off the blocker's hands. Ball is kept alive. Canada in transition. Has to make the tip. An opportunity for Team Japan. Oh, but there is the block again. This is what we talked about. Canada late stages the wall.
We just mentioned Fred Winters not connecting with Gatsu. Comes in for the triple here. Full connection, bouncing this ball straight down. Fantastic blocking. Canada, that's been their trademark throughout the competition, and is sealing it up here in the end of set number 4.
6 points to go for Team Canada as Rudy Verhoof. And the ball is into the middle, and that one slammed down by the rangy middle attacker Yamamura.
And it's Kondo falling back into that same game plan that we saw late in set number 3. Starting the set with a lot of outside attack, and then the crucial moments, the tighter parts of the set, dishes up to the middle once in a while to keep the Canadian block honest.
So Canada trying to be the first team to 20 here as they are going to receive this bomb. And it's a good one, but it's handled. And the ball is kept in play. Amazing dig. Canada in transition. Here's an opportunity outside. Oh, and this one is just rocking it down.
That's what Winters needs to do. He's too strong, too powerful. He brings it like this. Great things happen for Canada. Again, transition ball, getting off the net and creating that.
Well, that location of that set, too, is just outstanding. And Josh Howitson back into the net. Graduate of Trinity Western University. Played it for Paris Volley as your old team. Played for Paris Volley this year in France. Sunius on the float. Handled easily. There is the pipe shot. Canada, a transition shot. And it's just a control shot. Gatsu. And another block. Justin Duff is there, turns and yells at the floor.
Well, Gatsu's had success with that change of pace shot, the little tip, the roll, trying to go over the middle blocker. But Duff is simply way too high, hangs up there for it and slams it down.
And you could see the reach there just seemed to last forever as Canada on a roll now. So patient, 21-16, 4 points away. And it's kept alive. Oh no, it's a lift call. That referee looked like he, oh no, four contacts. Thought that was a lift.
That's right, the initial contact not ruled a block as the Canadian player had come down, was on the floor. Pinballed around, rattled for 4 touches, point for Japan. Fred Winters debating that block of whether or not the player was down or not.
Well,
to no avail.
You're rarely going to win those, and that's Mohamed Bazar Lazreg from Algeria saying, I saw it, I called it. There's a substitution. Yoniyama coming in. Yuta Yoniyama. Canada 4 points away from winning Pool C, but it is a tough 4 points. Japan battling on every touch of the ball. And into the net, the ball goes. And Canada edges closer as Gary Sato looks on. Yamamura back in.
I can tell you we're glued to the screen right now alongside the entire Dutch volleyball program. We're glued,
yeah.
Praying that Japan can come back in this set.
Canadian fans hoping for Canada, cheering for Canada. There's a pipe shot, and that is down. And all night, Fukuzawa has been deadly.
And he's bringing the emotion, the energy, and playing loose. Obviously, the pressure's off the Japanese team. Seeing a huge double block in front of him creates a great angle and cuts it back towards Dan Lewis for the score.
Patience required now from Team Canada. We talked about getting your emotions in check as Gatsu takes something off this pass, set to the outside, hammered down by Gord Perrin. Great set selection from Josh Howitson.
Selection indeed, it's the perfect matchup. Number 18, Gord Perrin going right over top of Kondo, the small Japanese setter.
And when Duff goes in, he just holds that middle with him every single time. Canada, 2 points away. Here's an opportunity. Bit of a miscue, and it's a huge block. Josh Howitson is there. Canada celebrating 1 point away from history.
Well, it seems Japan's luck has run out offensively. Efficiency was the story all night long until the end of this fourth set. The Canadian block going to town.
Here it is, set point for Team Canada. Set to the outside, it's 1-on-1. The ball is down on the floor. Josh Howitson finishes the set for Team Canada. 25-18. What a massive, massive victory for Canada. Gives them a minimum of 1 point in the standings, ties them with the Netherlands, but they win on the tiebreak.
And that tiebreak is their fantastic set ratio throughout the competition, winning 3-0, 3-1, 3-0, 3-1. Putting up those great numbers, gives them the best ratio in the pool, and gets them through to the final round. Epic stuff for the Canadian program.
We'll have the fifth and deciding set coming up next here from Osaka, Japan. World League action.
Hi, I can help you down here.
One adult, one child.
Tonight you actually don't have to pay, okay?
What? It's free. What?
Free. Free. What? It's free.
Why?
Large popcorn, large drink. Total is going to be free.
Really?
Yep. Why is everything free?
Earn free movies with everyday purchases with the Scotiabank Scene Debit Card. Sign up now and get up to 5 free movies. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
We fuel the future. We know what it takes to be the best because we've been on the field with them and in the lab studying them. We use 48 years of our sports science to help them perform at their best. Gatorade fuels better than water. Fuel better, perform better.
Give spinach and avocado a go at Subway restaurants. You can toss wholesome spinach on the sweet onion chicken teriyaki, or even add creamy avocado and spinach to a turkey breast sandwich. On honey oat bread with tomatoes and red onions, you got it.
I got it made fresh at Subway. Subs made just the way I say. I got it made. I got it made fresh at Subway. Subs made just the way I say.
Ask for spinach and avocado on your favorite sandwich today. Subway, eat fresh.
If you're playing to win, here's a brand new soap for you. Nope, I was wrong. This is a commercial for fruit. Nope, I was right. It's a really weird commercial for soap.
Welcome back to World League. Canada wins set number 4 on the strength of a huge block on the outside. But look at this key point, Paul. This seemed to change the momentum.
It's Canadian volleyball at its best. Team play, execution, discipline, and patience coming through, and that's what the Canadians needed to turn on to take it home. They did that, and history has been made here.
Well, it seemed that for set number 2, set number 3, they played a little tight. Set number 4, they got a little looser. So let's take a look at these new standings now. In Pool C, you see there, 22 points at a minimum right now, each for Canada and the Netherlands, but Canada on top on the strength of the set ratio, better than the Netherlands. So great story for Team Canada, but the match far from over. Rally point volleyball, 5th set, only goes to 15 points. This is going to be quick.
That's right, the Canadians need to pick up right where they left off. 6 stuffed blocks in set number 4. That's been their MO for the entire World League campaign. Putting the pressure on the Japanese attackers who faltered when it mattered most at the end of set number 4 there. The unforced errors coming and the blocks coming as well for Canada.
So here we go in set number 5. Japan ready, Canada ready. The Canadians on the serve. Dustin Schneider, Manitoba native, putting the ball in play. Into the tape on his own side. Tries to keep that ball really tight to the top of the net, but the margin of error is really small.
Uncharacteristic miss for Schneider there. He's normally really solid with that tactical serve.
Suzuki, high floater, handled easily. Oh, massive left-handed shot from the Alberta native, Alasunius.
Well, that weight lifted from the Canadian shoulders. Be interesting to see if they can maintain the focus that they had to bring through the win in set number 4.
One ball set to the outside, and this one finds its way through the block, and that's Fukuzawa again. Boy, he's had a great match so far.
He has, unfortunately, for Fukuzawa, though, he was unable to finish. As in match number 1, the Japanese attackers, so efficient using the shots, fell into the habit of trying to play the power game at the end of the 4th set, which goes right into Canada's hands.
Ball set tight to the net. Quick play. And the ball out of bounds. Canada's middle scores the point. 2-all.
The 10th kill for Rudy Verhoef, who's been a force for Canada. 15 points from the middle blocker in this match so far.
Quick arm swing, fast feet, really dynamic player, Rudy Verhoef. And there's a middle shot. It's dug, but Canada called for a net violation. No, looks like Japan is called on the net.
Yeah, thumbs up from the Japanese player, agreeing with the call.
Suzuki touching the net there on that tight set. So Canada up by 1. On another tight set. This one's dug. Here's Sunius in transition. Kept alive. Another big block by Team Canada, but this time on their side of the net. And you see it jacked up Fukuzawa.
A lot of this energy is frustration. Japan so close there, tasting it and having it go away. Frustration for these players. They've been involved in so many tight matches throughout the World League, giving everyone a run for their money.
And remember, this team is at the bottom of this pool. They are in 6th position. It shows you the quality of this pool, even though it's Pool C. And the ranking of these players not as high as A and B. Still good volleyball.
Well, this system really has created fantastic drama for the World League in general. All 3 pools are balanced. Every match has significant meaning. As we see Japan siding out again there, it's number 17, Koshikawa, on the left side.
Big block from Team Canada there. Again, 18-8 on the blocks. And there's an ace serve down the line. Kashikawa was the target. Canada up 6-3 here in the 5th set.
Canada pulling away early. Remember, we're only going to 15 points here. 3 points in the 5th set is a big lead. Great action on that jump float.
The teams will change sides at 8 points, so there's no advantage gained. But a timeout called by Gary Sato as a 3-point gap has opened up. And again, Canada's blocking in set number 4 and here early in set number 5 really starting to exert itself.
It was, and the Japanese players going to that power game. Canada loves it. That's how they want to play the game. They don't want to be frustrated by the tips, the rolls, the chisel shots off the block. Surprising that lack of discipline. Again, this is an experienced squad. These guys, many of them playing over 150 international matches, tons of experience, have seen these big international blocks, which have learned the lesson by now.
Well, 5 of these Japanese players have Olympic experience. But you know what happens when you're a small guy? You just want to take a big chew on that ball. And a substitution being made here for Team Japan, as Yoneyama comes in. Yoneyama only 1.85 m, really small for a left side player. Back set off the block, but kept alive. Here's Canada. Fred Winters. Set outside. This is a tip. Here's Schneider. Great rally here. Block is there. Oh, it's kept alive. Wonderful play. And finally finished by Gatsu. Great athleticism on both sides of the court there.
That's right, especially from the setter Kondo. Look at him sprinting towards the net to make this set. The body control to not go into the net, kicking that left leg high to stop the momentum. Incredible. He stops so quickly and still makes a great back set.
So Yamamura puts this one in. Oh, it's a bit of an errant pass, but Sunius gets a chance to swing for it. It's kept alive. Japan's in transition. Block is there. Sunius again. And boy, Japan has just had no answer for that cross-court shot.
They haven't. Normally that's the easier dig to make as well. The cross-court shot simply has to travel farther. It's coming into the court. It's the digs down the line where you're 5 or 6 meters away from the attacker when he contacts the ball that are incredibly tough to pick up. You have a split second to react to that shot. Cross-court a little more time, but Japan can't find a solution for Sunius.
So Fred Winters, who was so big in that fourth set, puts in a massive serve, gets an overbump opportunity, and gives Perrin the opportunity to go down the line, which he does, scores the point. 8-4 Canada.
At the 8-point mark, both teams will switch sides. Referees will check the rotations to make sure everyone's in the correct position that they left off at. And then play will continue.
And you take a look here, Canada is the first team out of these 3 pools to qualify. The host, of course, is in Argentina, but Canada, the first team to earn a berth into the final round.
And
Paul, who do you think is going to be joining them?
Well, looking into Pool A and Pool B, obviously the Russians initially in the competition looked like they were going to waltz into the finals, but have slipped as of late against Germany. Definitely Brazil, world ranked #1. Look to move ahead, but again, nothing is guaranteed. A lot of drama coming into these final matches in all the pools.
And Italy has a possibility as well, as Canada somehow miraculously keeps that ball alive. And Lewis straps that on, but just can't contain the heat from the outside from Yoneyama.
Well, the 6-footer for Japan going up against Dustin Schneider and Duff, and beats Duff. That attack almost going under the block of Duff here. Lewis with a great dig, but just drifts out of play.
Canada still up here in set number 5. Trying to make it a sweep. Gatsu, seen a couple of huge serves from him. And this one, though, is out the back. And Canada knocking on the door. It's 9-5. We're only playing to 15 points here in set number 5.
Perhaps Gatsu's tank running a little bit empty. He's carried this team over the weekend against Canada.
Duff going deep. Ball set to the outside, one-on-one, and that one is down. And again, it's Yoneyama and Kondo getting a lot of balls out to that side.
Well, he's getting it out to fresh legs there. We haven't seen Yoneyama over the course of the weekend here in Japan, coming off the bench with some electrifying stuff.
Patience, the key for Team Canada now. Oh, and there's a perfectly executed pipe shot. Boy, that was hit hard.
The Canadians looking to finish this match in style. Not letting up at all. Winters doing Japan no favors.
Now Winters, a heavy ball hitter for sure. Schneider, second one in a row into the net. He started this 5th set, putting one into the net just like that, right at the top of the tape. Substitution for Team Japan. Yokota coming in, Suzuki coming out.
Yokota's been so efficient with his jump float serve, putting Canada in trouble time and time again and hitting that serving target of the front row passer. His last one, he went back cross court behind the setter's head as well.
And it looked like Matsumoto also coming in. Gary Sato making some double subs there. It's Yokota, the float serve. Oh, this one hits the top of the tape and changes directions, but Rudy Verhoof hits it off the blocker's hands on a low set.
And with that kill, Verhoof matches Gord Perrin the left side in points on the match. They've both had 17. Big numbers from Verhoof. Typically your outsides have a lot more volume of attack, post the higher numbers, but Verhoof efficient and getting blocks as well for points.
Well, and Gord Perrin there, he has switched in the last 2 sets to the float serve, and that one just totally handcuffed Nagano. And another timeout called by Gary Sato as Japan seems to be wilting a little bit in the 5th set.
Well, they're let down. They tasted victory. It was so close in the 4th. Had it stolen away by the Canadians and have a little bit left here to respond with. Speaking of those float servers, it seems that when the serves are in this big sports hall, the Osaka gym is incredibly large with a really high ceiling. There's a lot of opportunity for air currents to be flowing around in the facility. And when the servers hit that float, ball's going to pick up on those and drop quickly, sit up on the server, on the serve receive player, excuse me, moving around. Players who've gotten those serves in have been extremely effective.
So Canada now 3 points away from sweeping Japan, winning the first match in this doubleheader, 3 sets to 1. And here they are in the 5th set. Ball's tight to the top of the tape. A chicken wing defense from Dan Lewis, and a huge block, a turn block. A very heads-up play from Verhoof.
Showtime from Rudy Verhoof with the 180 jam slam here. Check it out, back to the net, turns, rotates, finds the ball and seals it up.
Well, the pirouette scores for Canada, and there's the dump, but it's handled easily. Canada in transition. Dug on the outside. But the block is right there, and the ball is rejected. Nobody making the defensive play on Japan. The wind totally out of their sails now as it sets up a match point for Team Canada. They've doubled Japan's score. Ball set back to Gatsu. And that is a massive block. Is it in? Is it out? It is called in. Incredible. The ball was down before the player had even finished swinging. Canada wins the match 3 sets to 2, and they booked their ticket to Argentina.
What a finish. And it had to be the block for Canada. Fred Winters put a hole in the floor to end the match. That block was enormous, and the Canadians had got it done at the net in World League time and time again. Incredible work, an incredible team effort under immense pressure to come through and make history here today.
Yes, Canada opened with a 25-23 win in the set number 1, and then fell behind the next 2 sets, losing both by 2 before coming through in set 4. And then finally in set 5. We'll wrap this historic match up next when we come back to Osaka, Japan.
Being a chef is all about creating the perfect plate. Before Polygrip, food got caught under my denture and I would avoid trying certain foods. I don't want to compromise the perfect dish.
Even well-fitting dentures can let in food particles. With just a few dabs, Polygrip is clinically proven to help seal out food particles so you're more comfortable and confident while you eat.
Because Polygrip holds my dentures in and helps keep food out, I can do what I love to do, and that is cook.
Polygrip. Eat, speak, and smile with confidence.
What do you get when you take an A&W Teen Burger and you mix in some spicy guacamole? Then add some Santa Fe cheese and pickled jalapenos. You get a little bit messy. Here you are, sir. You'll be needing these. So will she. The Spicy Guacamole Teen Burger. New from A&W.
Welcome back to Osaka, Japan, as Canada is in celebratory mode with a 3-2 win.